Just when you thought you could turn your back and walk away, the dark cloud of human indignity follows you. You had no choice but to turn and look it in the eye. It's the sex offender hit list.
Now on Live at 5, a Harris County inmate accused of drugging and raping a teenager is eligible for release because prosecutors missed the deadline to indict him.
ABC 13 Shannon Ryan joins us live outside the district attorney's office. Shannon, you've been in touch with them and the victim's family today. What'd you find out?
Well, the victim's family is just livid. They really feel like prosecutors let them down here and dropped the ball. This all started in late April when a 16-year-old girl was allegedly drugged and raped by then 24-year-old Luis Sanchez. 3 months later, her mother took her to the hospital where the teen confided in her. The Harris County District Attorney's Office confirms there is also an investigation into a separate attack involving Sanchez and the same girl in Fort Bend County. In Texas, prosecutors are required by law to obtain an indictment within 90 days of a person being taken into custody. If not, the accused is entitled to a bond they can afford. Paperwork shows Sanchez was ultimately indicted just after that 90-day deadline. A spokesperson for the DA's office said they missed it by 2 days. We spoke with Steve Shellist, an attorney not affiliated with the case, who says this isn't unusual. We asked the DA's office how often it happens, and they had us file a records request for those numbers.
These DAs have hundreds, some have thousands of cases on their plate, as do the courts, and things fall through the cracks. Sometimes they're just not ready. I don't think it's an intentional thing, but I think it happens more often than people think.
Now, at last check, Sanchez was still in the Harris County Jail. We're told there are several conditions he'll need to meet prior to release. He'll be in a shelter wearing an ankle monitor and under house arrest. Live downtown, Shannon Ryan, ABC 13.
A Gaylord man was arrested for child abuse, and he was also accused of animal abuse by the victim. In July, the mother of a victim of an alleged assault that occurred last year contacted the Michigan State Police Gaylord Post to make a report. The victim recently disclosed to the parent that they had been assaulted in the past. The MSP states a forensic interview was conducted at the Northern Michigan Children's Assessment Center in Roscommon. It was there the child alleged now 21-year-old Nathaniel Kane Barrera from Gaylord would have her lie on her stomach with her arms behind her back, and then he would force a sock in her mouth, preventing her from breathing. Police state that he is now accused of doing this on several occasions while she was with him at a relative's home. The victim also made allegations of animal cruelty. Barrera was interviewed and he was later arrested and lodged in the Otsego County Jail. He was arraigned this week in Otsego County on one count assault with intent to do great bodily harm less than murder and child abuse 4th degree. His bond was set at $10,000.
Man has been arrested on sex crime charges. The TBI says they received a tip about child sexual abuse involving a young girl. Agents raided a home on Brook Street in Paris in Henry County. Agents identified 40-year-old Justin Ferris as a man that was creating and distributing the illegal items. Ferris was booked into the Henry County Jail and charged with especially aggravated sexual exploitation of a minor on a $500,000 bond.
We begin your early news with a situation developing now out of Houghton County. 3 men face criminal charges connected to a human trafficking investigation in the UP. The Houghton County Sheriff says Peter Hallisey, Trenton Killinan, and Juan Marin were arrested after the investigation by a multi-agency human trafficking task force, which shows the 3 men chatted online with undercover deputies posing as minors. Deputies say each man was arrested after they got to a location to have sex with a minor. Marine was an associate professor of math at the now closed Finlandia University. Marine was also being considered by the Chassell Township School Board as a possible teacher pending a background check. The Chassell School Superintendent tells TV6 the matter is now under review. Each man faces the same charges: child sexually abusive activity, using computers to commit child sexually abusive activity, and accosting a child for immoral purposes.
First at 10, Only 11 News has pictures of the moment that a man allegedly tried to grab a child out of a car in downtown Colorado Springs, was taken into custody. Police say in the moments before this arrest, he also exposed himself to multiple people. And tonight we're hearing from a business owner who says that she was a victim. We also have this new video of 49-year-old Adam Lohr trying doors along Platte, just west of Boulder. 11 News reporter Jared Dean is live near that area. And Jared, this happened early in the morning yesterday.
Those initial calls came in just before 8 o'clock yesterday morning, a time when many people are on their way to work or opening their businesses for the day.
He was coming towards me, and I hurried up and locked my door.
Dainty Wheaton, who owns Dainty's Jamaican Kitchen on the corner of Platte and Weber, tells me she saw a man trying to get into her restaurant Tuesday morning.
When I locked the door, he stood at the door and he just flashed me.
Wheaton gave 11 News this video of the man she says also tried to get into a business next door. Police say 49-year-old Adam Lohr exposed himself and chased women and children along North Nevada by Acacia Park earlier that same morning. A woman also told police Lohr tried to pull her child out of a car.
The mother was able to chase that perpetrator away, and so when officers arrived on scene, they contacted her.
Our crew was on scene when Lohr was arrested in the parking lot of a tattoo shop named Freaky's. Wheaton's business is next door. She says the frightening moments she experienced have her on edge.
It was scary, and I think he thought nobody was here. So I don't know what he was trying to come in for.
Wheaton says she is considering increasing security around her restaurant.
I have to protect myself.
Now, police tell me they believe there's no ongoing threat to the public, and anyone with information or was a witness to these incidents is asked to call the police's non-emergency line. Live in Colorado Springs, Jared Dean, KKTV 11 News.
Okay, Jared, thank you.
An 82-year-old Lincoln man has been sentenced to prison for sexually abusing a grade school-aged girl. This is Charles Temple. He pled no contest to third-degree sexual assault of a child and attempted first-degree sexual assault of a child as part of a plea agreement. On Wednesday, Lancaster District Judge Jody Nelson sentenced him to 9 years and 7 months, up to 23 years in prison. In April of 21, the young girl told a relative Temple had been inappropriately touching her for years, and that he told her to keep that touching a secret. Well, the secret's out, buddy.
Miguel Robert Rodriguez is a sexually violent predator currently living in Denver. He's 36 years old and was born on June 16, 1987. He's a Hispanic male, 6 feet 2 inches tall, 250 pounds, with black hair and brown eyes. He's currently living at 8595 East Colfax Avenue, number 8, in the East Colfax neighborhood of Denver.
Laurel County man is facing serious charges in a sexual abuse case. The Laurel County Sheriff's Office posted on Facebook deputies arrested 70-year-old Lanny Hacker of London yesterday morning. Few details were released, but the arrest occurred in London and was based on an investigation by the Sheriff's Office. Hacker is charged with rape, sodomy, incest, and unlawful transaction with a minor. He was taken to the Laurel County Correctional Center.
Sparta man is convicted of sex crimes against a child. The Monroe County District Attorney says on Tuesday, a jury convicted 49-year-old Brian Sanders of 19 counts, including child enticement and third-degree sexual assault. The DA says the convictions are related to conduct Sanders engaged in between 2015 and 2017 in Sparta. 8 of the convictions call for Sanders to be sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of release. A sentencing hearing is scheduled for December 11th.
Following a former co-owner of a dance studio in Omaha pleaded not guilty after being indicted on federal charges of sexual conduct with a female minor. There is concern at the FBI field office in Omaha that there could be other victims. Our Marla Lundak joins us live from the newsroom with more tonight.
John, 43-year-old Nicholas Murphy could face anywhere from 10 years to life in prison if he's convicted. We're told the defense is expected to get government evidence against him in about 2 weeks. Murphy is accused of transporting a female under the age of 18 from Omaha to Tucson with the purpose of engaging in sexual activity with her. Murphy is on the left here, and after his federal court appearance today in Omaha, a judge ordered Murphy to stay with his parents in Arizona with an ankle monitor. The government argued he's a flight risk and a danger to Omaha. He cannot leave Arizona without approval. He's also been ordered to have no contact with any minors, including his 14-year-old stepdaughter, who knows the victim in the case and may be called as a witness. Neither Murphy or his attorney had a comment following his court appearance today. And tonight, the FBI is looking for more potential victims of Murphy. Earlier this month, they spoke with 6 News about how to handle a situation if you think your child may have been a victim.
If you see one of our notices, you think your child could have information, could even have been a victim, the best thing you can do is just call us. And as I said, we have people ready 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, whose sole job is working with victims.
Facing charges for indecent liberties with a child that was happening inside a restaurant. Salisbury police say yesterday, shortly after 8 p.m., officers a suspicious circumstances call at the DJ restaurant on West Innis Street. They say Charles Honbarger was found to have committed an indecent act with a juvenile at the restaurant. He has been arrested and given a $10,000 bond.
Leonard Johnson received a sentence of life in prison on Thursday afternoon, but first he forgave the judge, the prosecutors, and witnesses who helped convict him. Johnson, a 64-year-old, appeared before Judge Tad Brenner for a sentencing hearing in Adams County Circuit Court. An Adams County jury found the gymnastics coach from Rochester, Minnesota, was guilty of 4 counts of predatory sexual assault of 2 children under the age of 13 during a trial in January. One victim, a 10-year-old girl, told the jury she and her stepsister spent a night with their great-uncle in a Quincy hotel in May of 2020, and they touched his genitals with their mouths and hands. Brenner was required to sentence Johnson to spend the rest of his life in an Illinois Department of Corrections because of a state statute that reads, "A person who has attained the age of 18 years at the time of the commission of the offense and is convicted of predatory criminal sexual assault of a child committed against 2 or more persons, regardless of whether the offense has occurred as a result of the same act or time, shall be sentenced to a term of natural life in prison." See ya, Chomo.
Found a Jefferson County man guilty of child sex crimes. Deliberations started this afternoon in the trial of Herschel Obie. He was charged with continuous sexual abuse of a child and 3 counts of sexual assault of a child. That case dates back to 2020 in Port Arthur.
A former youth umpire arrested for inappropriate sexual contact with 2 teenagers. Now police warn there could be more victims. Thank you for joining us. I'm Ann Allred. Crestwood police are asking any additional victims to come forward. 5 on your side's Holden Kerwicki spoke with investigators this afternoon and has the very latest on this case. Holden.
Well, and Crestwood police recently arrested this man, Zachary Barbeau, with 11 counts of sex crimes. Barbeau is currently in the St. Louis County Jail facing a $500,000 bond as investigators turn their attention to victims who they believe have yet to come forward.
These ball fields are supposed to be a safe place for kids.
You trust adults will take care of children.
However, Sergeant James Jones with the Crestwood Police Department recently received a disturbing report.
Back in June of this year, we were contacted by a female and her mom that said that she had been sexually assaulted.
That investigation led police to this man, Zachary Barbeau, who they believe used his position as an umpire at the Afton Athletic Association to prey on multiple teens.
Through that, they began a conversation which led to Snapchat contact back and forth, to led in person.
Barbeau has since been arrested and currently faces 11 charges, including counts of sodomy and sexual molestation. But Sergeant Jones is concerned there may be more victims throughout the St. Louis area.
We are already receiving phone calls on other incidents and his propensity and other things. So we are looking into those now. And I encourage anyone to speak to their children if they've had any contact with him to see if there's any contact. If so, please give us a call.
While Sergeant Jones acknowledges that conversation can be difficult to have with a child, he says it's an important part of being a protective parent.
Doesn't matter if it's him or someone else, just contact your kids and keep that line of communication open so that we can keep our kids safe.
The Afton Athletic Association released a statement about an hour ago acknowledging Barabo's arrest, adding that he has been terminated and barred from the premises. While officials with the club are cooperating with the investigation at this time, they do not believe any of the alleged conduct took place on Afton Athletic Association property. Ann?
Of sex trafficking her disabled teenage daughter took the stand this afternoon. Good evening, everyone. I'm Taylor Freeman.
And I'm Evie Allen. Thanks so much for joining us. KMUH's John Murphy joins us live outside Boone County Courthouse with an update from day 3 of Renee Collins' trial. John.
Evie, Taylor, we finally got to hear Renee Collins' side of the story. She stepped up to the witness stand around 3 p.m. and she actually just finished with her testimony and cross-examination by the prosecution and defense. Now, she says that she did the exact opposite of what she's accused of. She described a situation where she denied someone sex with her daughter after a man asked for it in exchange for drugs. That was outside of the Welcome Inn where she was living with her daughter at the time. She says this situation started from telling the manager about what happened. She claims CPD investigated the incident. Now, here's what she says she told the person who did ask to have sex with her daughter.
I said, kick rocks. I said, come on, sissy, these are bad guys. And we hurried up and went back down to the motel.
Now, this morning, it was all about the victim. We heard from a forensic interviewer. We also heard from a pediatrician who said that there were signs that the daughter had been sexually abused. Now, the daughter, as a reminder, she is autistic, deaf, and does have cerebral palsy. I'm going to head back in the courtroom now. It sounds like things are wrapping up for the day. We'll have another live update at 6, and we'll continue the trial coverage tomorrow as well.
And of course, as details come in on this case, you'll be sure to hear them right here on the Sex Offender Hit List.
Police in Kewanee are asking for victims to come forward after a man allegedly exposed himself to some girls. Police say the 2 juvenile females reported that a man parked in a white sedan exposed himself as they walked by. Police found the suspect, the girls described, and arrested 56-year-old Daniel Carlson of Tuscaloosa. He's charged with public indecency. Police say he has a record of a similar incident in Princeton in 1999, and police believe there may be unreported cases involving Carlson. Contact police with any information.
You're going max. You know that, right? They're going to classify you max. All right? And you're going to go there, and everyone's going to know. Baby killer. Good luck with that.
Osceola County Sheriff's detectives say they've arrested a Kissimmee man for possessing videos and photos that were child pornographic material. Joel Quillis Rodriguez, 27-year-old, was arrested Thursday and charged with 20 counts of possession of photo video of sexual performance by a child. The sheriff's office reported he was booked into the Osceola County Jail on a $50,000 bond. But jail records show he posted it and he's no longer in jail as of early Friday evening. Shame.
Thanks for joining us on this Friday night. An exclusive story now that you will find only on News 10. A Lafayette man is in jail after trying to meet up with a 14-year-old girl he met online.
The teen, however, was actually a predator catching group. The group gave KLFY exclusive access to the undercover operation, and News 10's Britt LaFaso is live in studio tonight. She followed everything as it unfolded and put it all together for us to view tonight.
Yeah, hey guys, the name of the group is Louisiana Dads Against Pedophiles. Their goal is to protect children. This week, one of their undercover operations came to a head. This is how it all unfolded.
So right now we are on our way to a Waffle House and we're meeting up with a man named Joseph who runs Predator Poachers. Basically, he's been portraying himself as a 14-year-old girl online and talking to an older man. Now this man wants to meet up with he thinks is a teenager at the Waffle House tonight, and instead he's going to be meeting us, Joseph, and a detective. Nice to meet you. I'm Brett. All right, let's get you mic'd up. So we are going to be miking Joseph up, so whenever he's in there, we can hear everything that is happening from inside our car.
While we set up, Joseph read us some of the messages between him as a 14-year-old girl we're calling Amanda and Des Hotels.
He is very headstrong and it's like, you got to keep this relationship coming down low. I love you so much. I ought to treat you and in a way you've never been treated before. And I will protect you as long as I'm here.
Joseph also showed us these messages where Des Hotels allegedly says, we just have to be on the down low and slick about our relationship until you're 17. The messages also say, we have to be careful. And the suspect allegedly lets Amanda know, I can't get you pregnant. Once we were all set up, Joseph sat inside Waffle House. Our videographer Bryce sat at a nearby table. Another videographer, Nick, and I waited inside the car, listening in. An hour later, Des Hotel arrived to meet 14-year-old Amanda. Joseph sat down and confronted him, letting him know he was actually Amanda.
Yeah, how'd that make you feel? When you found out her age, how'd that make you feel?
Well, I was like, I'm backed up. At first, I was trying to give her guidance. You see him every text. I was just trying to help. I trying to tell her stay in school, do right. You know what I'm saying? You know, get out of school. Just go get a GED.
Yeah.
But don't give up, you know.
After talking for several minutes about the online relationship, police arrived.
Like, it's a hard thing to work about.
Officer Ross from Lafayette Police Department. Yes, sir. Do me a favor. You want to stand up for me right now? Yes, sir. All right, let me see. Let me see. You take a walk.
You're doing the call.
Actually, the reporter did outside. I am the decoy. I have everything you need.
Des Hotels was then led away into the back of a police unit. We spoke with a Waffle House customer after the arrest.
And I don't even know what the guy got arrested for.
So I'll let you know, the man in the red shirt, he was talking to what he thought was a 14-year-old girl.
Oh.
And it was actually this man portraying her online.
Mm-hmm.
What's your thoughts on that?
Well, you know, anybody that try to mess with a 14-year-old or anybody under 18 years of age, I feel that they should be, and I'm going to say this word, castrated.
Then we spoke again with Joseph about the operation.
Look, we had this 52-year-old man here to meet what he believed was a 14-year-old girl, which luckily wasn't. It was me as a decoy. And he kind of brushed us off for a little bit, but tonight when he finally made it, he sat in the corner and I went and spoke with him for a bit, just about his sexual chats with this minor, just where his headspace was, what wanted him to do it. I was able to get him to open up, build some trust, and luckily amazing officers with Lafayette PD came in to help.
He says the night was a success and will continue the cause.
I'll feel 100% better one day, but these guys are still around. And plus, it teaches my kids to be careful. I want parents to know this is how easy it was. I didn't just get lucky the first time. These guys are out here. And this one's from Lafayette, in Lafayette. And it was incredibly easy, as seen here at the Waffle House.
Des Hotels is charged with computer-aided solicitation of a minor. His bond is set at $40,000. Britt LaFaso, KLFY News 10.
Tonight at 10 o'clock, a man in Buncombe County sentenced to more than 2 decades in prison after being found guilty of multiple child sex crimes. Christopher Sheridan, on your screen there, found guilty of 4 counts of statutory rape of a child by an adult, 3 counts of statutory sex offense with a child by an adult, 1 count of incest under the age of 13, and 1 count of obstructing justice. Officials say they started investigating when the victim told her mom Sheridan sexually assaulted her and touched her inappropriately back in 2018. Deputies investigated these allegations but didn't file charges because the victim took back those claims when Sheridan reportedly threatened her. In 2021, the victim reported the assaults again when a friend revealed she was also a victim of Sheridan. The judge also ruling that Sheridan needs to register as a sex offender and never contact the victims again. He must also use satellite-based monitoring for 10 years after he gets out of prison.
Kentucky State Police say a Bell County man shared sexually explicit pictures of minors online. 47-year-old Robert R. Price was charged with 5 counts of possession of matter portraying a minor over the age of 12 in a sexual performance. Troopers say they executed a search warrant at a home in Middlesboro on Thursday and found equipment used to facilitate the crime.
Is just getting started tonight. It comes after a charter school employee was arrested and accused of child exploitation.
And this all started after a parent found text messages between the employee and her child. Our Devin Truby talked with the San Joaquin County Sheriff today, learning sadly there are multiple victims.
Eric Whiteside, a 44-year-old employee at Able Charter School in Stockton that serves TK through 12th grade, was arrested and booked into San Joaquin County Jail for alleged child exploitation. This after a parent found text messages between Whiteside and her child.
Disturbing images and text messages on their child's phone. Indeed, sending and receiving inappropriate text messages between himself and an underage child.
According to a statement put out by the school, Whiteside was hired in 2021 and passed a Department of Justice background check. He was a security monitor and engagement specialist and coach. The school found out about the investigation on September 12th. Whiteside was put on leave the next day and then fired. He never returned to the school.
In our Costa Detectives investigation, I can't share exactly how, but they were able to determine there was another victim.
Both the school and the sheriff's office are asking families to talk to their children.
Talk to your children. Make it comfortable to be able to talk to your children about this. We know that's a very sensitive topic, and we don't want anyone to feel ashamed if they have been victimized by this suspect.
Now, Devin, thank you for that report. Whiteside is due in court on Tuesday. Deputies say if you think your child may be a victim, call the San Joaquin County Sheriff's Office.
A Rome man is facing child pornography charges. The U.S. Attorney's Office says James Swanson used electronic devices to access and download child porn from the internet. A trial is pending. If convicted, Swanson faces 5 to 20 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. If you have any information on this case, Homeland Security investigators want to hear from you at 1-866-347-2423.
A TikTok influencer in Georgia is facing felony charges after she allegedly exposed herself to minors while streaming on social media. The video shows her flashing what appears to be 2 young boys while in a swimming pool. Kylie Strickland, a 30-year-old, was arrested on Thursday after a warrant was issued by Pike County investigators for computer or electronic pornography as well as child exploitation. Strickland posts using the name @Kylie.Strickland3 and has over 263,000 followers. But don't bother looking for her though, as her page was reportedly been set to private. I wonder why.
Firefighter is facing several drug, weapon, and child pornography charges in Columbia County. Reports say Matthew Brizendine worked with Columbia Fire Rescue for 15 years before he was fired Wednesday.
Investigators searched his home after someone called in a tip to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Hallie Turner joins us live in the newsroom after digging through that case today. Hallie.
These documents claim that Matthew Brizendine admitted to having a video file with sexually explicit images involving children and animals, and also growing and selling his own weed. It could mean that he could be stripped from losing his firefighter certification forever.
Matthew Brizendine went from fighting fires to fueling one of his own. The sheriff's office says they got a tip 3 weeks ago about child porn from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. On top of finding a video file as evidence, investigators say they found 363 grams of marijuana, digital scales, 2 grams of THC vape cartridges, and other drug paraphernalia inside his Columbia County home. Investigators also found 2 handguns and a rifle at the ex-Columbia County Fire and Rescue lieutenant's property. Jail records show he's being held in the Columbia County Jail on 2 counts of sexual exploitation of children, 3 weapons charges, and 3 drug charges. The county confirms Brizendine was fired and arrested Wednesday after serving 15 years with the fire department. According to the Georgia Firefighter Standards and Training Rules and Regulations, a fire service member shall notify them in writing of any misdemeanor arrest, felony arrest, indictments, etc. within 15 calendar days. The penalty? Decertification, probation, or suspension by the council.
Now, he was denied bond on the child pornography charges as well as the drug distribution charges.
Hallie, thanks so much. We're going to continue tracking this story as more information comes in.
In Rutherford County, evangelist Benjamin Garlick and his wife Chantel are charged with child rape and sexual abuse. Murfreesboro police say in February of 2021, Garlick raped a child and his wife facilitated it. Right now, Garlick is in jail. His wife posted bond.
A Dundee man has been arrested on charges related to the sexual abuse of a child in Steuben and Yates counties. According to New York State Police Department, 39-year-old Shane E. Gage was arrested by the New York State Police Bureau of Investigation from Bath yesterday. Gage is now facing 4 felony sex abuse charges. Police began investigating this case after Yates County Child Protective Services filed a complaint about Gage's interactions with the child in residence in Steuben and Yates counties. Gage is now in the Yates County Jail for Cap Court.
All right, thank you, Alexa. New this afternoon, a man in DeKalb County has been sentenced to 220 years in prison for sexual abuse crimes. Travis Eugene Wolf received his sentence Wednesday after being convicted of committing sexual crimes against a minor several times. The judge handed down 6 sentences ordered to run consecutively, totaling to 220 years. Wolf was found guilty of 15 counts of sexual crimes against the victim in the case this past June. District Attorney Summerford says Wolf received the maximum sentences in the cases.
An Elmira man was arrested on Wednesday after police said he was soliciting a child for sexual acts over the internet. Good evening, I'm Deja Gross.
And I'm Trina Catterson. Thank you for joining us tonight at 6. According to the Elmira police, 30-year-old Daniel Peterson Green was arrested yesterday after a months-long investigation into Peterson Green's acts against children over the internet. Police conducted the original search of a home in the south side of Elmira in February of this year after receiving a tip. Peterson Green is now charged with a felony for sending pornography to a minor. He is now in the Chemung County Jail.
John Walter Crawford, a 34-year-old, was arrested yesterday morning and charged with 1 count of possession of child sexual abuse material. Volusia County Sheriff's Office received a cyber tip in October of 22, alleging that a person using a Yahoo account sent 2 files with child exploitation material via email on September 4th of 21. A subpoena revealed that the IP address belonged to Windstream, and Windstream responded in January of 23 with a physical address in High Springs. Crawford lives at that address. Deputies made contact with Crawford yesterday, and of course he reportedly denied possessing any of that material and gave consent for a search of his phone. Well, the deputy reported finding a video that met the criteria for CSAM and informed Mr. Crawford that he was under arrest. See ya, Chomo.
A former East Moline firefighter will serve 10 years in federal prison on child pornography charges. Kyle Dupree pleaded guilty in May to distributing child porn on social media. Dupree will serve 5 years of supervised release after his sentence is finished.
A former Doña Ana County Sheriff's deputy was in federal court today after he was arrested by the FBI on kidnapping and sexual assault charges. Prosecutors say on or about April 30th of this year, in his official capacity as a sheriff's officer, Michael Andrew Martinez allegedly kidnapped the victim, identified only as Jane Doe, and sexually assaulted her, violating the victim's Fourth Amendment rights. Martinez is also accused of attempting to destroy evidence related to the other crimes. According to federal prosecutors, Martinez was also employed by New Mexico State Police and the Hatch Police Department. If you or someone you know may have been a victim of Martinez, you're asked to call the FBI, the number there on your screen.
Now, a Las Cruces city employee is now facing dozens of charges of sexual abuse of a child. Police arresting Dominique Aragon. He is charged with dozens of counts of criminal sexual contact and sexual penetration of a minor. According to the city of Las Cruces, Aragon was first hired back in 2007, and however, he is no longer employed by the city of Las Cruces.
A felony bench warrant has been issued for Magdalene Silk. She was charged with her first-degree rape and sexual contact with a child under 16 years of age. Silk is described as a Native American female born in '99, making her approximately 24 years old at the time of this announcement. She stands around 5 foot 1 inches tall, so she's pretty short, weighs approximately 155 pounds, and has brown hair with brown eyes. Silk is last known to be in or around Rapid City, South Dakota, and is known to frequent the area. Should you come across this individual or possess any information regarding her whereabouts, It is strongly advised not to approach her as she's armed and dangerous. Instead, please contact the Pennington County Sheriff's Office at 605-394-6117. Thank you.
A man has been sentenced to 30 years after pleading guilty to child molestation. 49-year-old Michael Crockett was arrested back in July. Officials say a child under the age of 14 says he engaged in sexual conduct with them. According to a release, that abuse took place for around 5 years. Crockett will have to serve 25 actual years in prison of that 30-year sentence. A release shows he will also have to register as a sex offender for the rest of his life.
The determined search for an escaped child sex offender is over tonight, and Fox 2 is on the scene where the suspect was taken into custody in Shrewsbury. Fox 2's Jeff Bernthal joins us now live from the parking lot of the Mackenzie Point Plaza with these late-breaking details. Jeff?
Yeah, everything quiet out here tonight. This is where it happened. This is the Deerbergs right by Watson, right off near Watson and Mackenzie. Spoke with a witness, a shopper out here, heard police ordering that suspect to the ground. They credit police and say this arrest took place without an incident. We were here with our cameras as well. Take a look as that suspect taken away in custody. Tommy Boyd back in custody tonight. More than a dozen hours of searching paying off. Boyd convicted of child sex crimes and was serving a 30-year sentence at Potosi. He escaped from Mercy South Hospital earlier today during a medical visit. The St. Louis County Police Department Special Response Unit able to take him into custody tonight after following up on multiple leads. Local, state, and federal authorities all working together on this case. Bomarito Automotive Group Skyfox was over the hospital earlier in the day. You could see County Police, the Highway Patrol, U.S. Marshal Service all responding. Tonight, the arrest taking place in front of some stunned shoppers.
I was coming to do some grocery shopping. I was putting the my old bags in the recycle bin, and then I heard the police officers tell somebody to get down on the ground, and then when I looked, they were all swarming.
You'll hear more from that witness coming up later this hour. Police say the streets safer, the community safer tonight following this arrest. No word yet on how Boyd was able to leave Mercy Hospital. The Department of Corrections not commenting yet on that. Reporting live from Shrewsbury, Jeff Bernthal, Fox 2 News.
It has had St. Louis on edge today, Jeff. Thank you. And right now, we want to show you the distance Boyd traveled today. From Mercy South Hospital in South St. Louis County, he was then reportedly spotted about 16 miles away in Tower Grove South, where police did a mass search this afternoon, before he was eventually caught in Shrewsbury, 7 miles north of Mercy South.
Meanwhile, a Greer man is arrested and accused of having child pornography. 46-year-old Charles Reed was arrested earlier this month by Spartanburg County Sheriff's Office. He's charged with 10 counts of third-degree sexual exploitation of a minor. He faces up to 10 years for each count.
And a breaking news alert just into our newsroom. A former Sioux Falls police officer has been sentenced on child pornography charges. Dakota News Now has learned that Matthew Jock was sentenced roughly 6 months in county jail for 2 counts of distribution of child porn. Jock took a plea deal in April and pleaded guilty to 2 counts of distribution of child pornography. He will have supervised probation for 10 years. Jock is required to report to jail next week. In a statement to Dakota News Now, Lincoln County State's attorney said, quote, very few cases have the impact on victims the way that child pornography cases do. Every person who downloads, views, and distributes these images essentially re-victimizes these children. Distribution of child pornography is punishable by up to 10 years of penitentiary time. My office argued for an 8-year sentence.
Begin with continuing coverage. The last of 7 men arrested in an undercover child sex crime operation has been identified. 68-year-old Calvin Velt of Sault Ste. Marie appeared in Marquette County District Court yesterday for arraignment. He was arrested along with 6 other men, all part of an undercover operation in Forsyth Township between August 21st and 23rd. Velt is charged with the same 4 felonies as the other suspects: child sexually abusive activity, accosting a child for immoral purposes, and 2 counts of using a computer to commit a crime. He is scheduled for a preliminary exam on September 14th.
Attorney General Jeff Landry is asking for help with the investigation into Jesse Rhodes. The Ouachita Parish Sheriff's Office says he's charged with 250 counts of child pornography involving juveniles under 13. If you can help, call the Louisiana Bureau of Investigation's office.
Man is under arrest for child pornography. 29-year-old Thomas Motley charged with 5 counts of possession of child pornography where the victims are under age 13. Police say they acted on a tip from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Evidence was taken from Motley's home and car. He's due in court on Monday.
First, we have breaking news from Wausau, where a former substitute teacher has been acquitted of sexual assault of a child. Online court records say the jury deliberated for less than an hour this morning before finding 28-year-old Zachary Robbins not guilty of 2 counts. The deliberation came after closing arguments this morning and 2 days of witness testimony. Robbins had been accused of inappropriately touching a student. He was a substitute teacher in the Wausau district in 2019. Still in the court.
We begin with a big arrest by the FBI tonight. A Jefferson County man on the run for sexual assault charges has been arrested in Mexico. This is 53-year-old Howard Lyons. He was charged with sexual assault of a child back in 2005. Lyons has now been brought back to the Jefferson County Jail by FBI agents. It happened this afternoon. Good evening, everyone. I'm Brenda Matuti.
And I'm Jordan Williams. FBI agents in Beaumont tell us they opened an investigation into Lyons when he fled to Mexico. He was later found and arrested in a small town down on the Yucatan Peninsula. That happened back in 2022. The FBI's International Operations Division, Mexican law enforcement, and Interpol all worked together to search and find Lyons. Lyons now, as Brenda noted, is in the Jefferson County Jail, charged with sexual assault of a child. As of now, his bond has not been set.
A rideshare driver has been convicted of sexually assaulting an underage girl who had been a passenger in his car. The Passaic County prosecutor announced this on Thursday. Officials said 43-year-old Julio Magi of Wharton was found guilty of second-degree sexual assault and second-degree luring or enticing of a child on September 20th, following a jury trial. The Morris County resident was an active member of the armed services also at the time of his arrest. The victim said a Lyft driver, later identified as Maja, picked her up on August 30th of 2019 in Prospect Park and sexually assaulted her.
Former Round Rock pastor David Lloyd Walther pleaded guilty to an enhanced charge of child pornography possession in a federal courtroom in Austin today. In a criminal complaint filed last November, Walther was charged with distribution, receipt, transportation, and possession of child porn. The complaint shows Walther used a peer-to-peer file-sharing network to access child pornography, downloading graphic images and videos at home and at Faith Baptist Church, where he was pastor. Walther faces a maximum penalty of 20 years in prison and a maximum fine of $250,000. A federal district court judge will determine that sentence.
New developments coming into the News 3 newsroom one day after News 3 broke the story about a registered sex offender on a Chesapeake school campus at an after-hours event. We've confirmed that that man, Ryan Early, has been arrested. We can also confirm that the PTA president, who is the man's wife, has stepped down. As we reported, Early was convicted of indecent liberties with children more than a decade ago. It is against the law for a sex offender, a registered sex offender, to be on school grounds without a special court order, which he did not say he had. The woman who he is married to was a PTA president at some Chesapeake public schools. Again, we've just learned that not only has his wife stepped down as PTA president, but that Ryan Early has been arrested for appearing on a school campus. We are working to get you more information about this. Stay with us on air and at WTKR.com for those new developments.
Decatur man faces charges for possessing material that depicts child sexual abuse. 30-year-old Michael Asa Conville was charged with possession and intent to disseminate obscene matter of a child involved in obscene acts. Way 31's Maddie McCaffrey joins us live from Decatur now with more on this disturbing story. Maddie.
Yeah, Dan, this investigation started back in June when the Decatur police received a tip from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children that an Instagram account was posting and receiving images of child sexual abuse material. Now, Instagram gave police the IP address to the account owner, and Charter was subpoenaed for the account info on the IP address. They told police the Wi-Fi account owner was Michael Conville's downstairs neighbor. Yesterday, police carried out a search warrant on Conville's apartment at Summer Courtyard apartment complex here in Decatur. During their investigation, it was determined that Conville is the owner of the Instagram account that contained child sexual abuse material. I spoke with Erica Hochberger, clinical director at the National Children's Advocacy Center, about what goes into investigating cases like these.
So, for example, if the images are on social media somewhere, then that social media company is going to receive a subpoena from the law enforcement investigator, and everything's a process that takes a minute. So, and then also, I think to find out where all the pictures and videos are, they want to do a thorough job.
And this arrest was made possible by the cyber tip line for the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. I talked to them today, so we're going to have that coming up for you at 5 and 6. Reporting live in Decatur, Maddie McCaffrey, Way 31 News.
A Tazewell man is charged with multiple crimes against children while awaiting trial for another 100 counts of crimes against children. 32-year-old David Goins was indicted today on multiple counts of child sex abuse and aggravated rape. Back in 2020, he was indicted for more than 100 counts of various crimes against kids, was awaiting trial when he was found in Indiana. Today, Claiborne County authorities went to that state and brought him back.
A Walton County Public Works employee is facing felony possession of child sexual abuse material charges. Florida Department of Law Enforcement agents began investigating 31-year-old Johnny Locke after receiving a tip from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. On August 24th, FDLE agents raided Locke's Holmes County home in Westville. They say they seized an electronic device which allegedly contained images depicting the sexual abuse of children, some as young as 5 years old. Locke was booked into the Walton County Jail on Tuesday. He's facing 6 counts of possession of child sexual abuse material.
The San Joaquin County Sheriff's Office released this video Thursday showing the arrest of Eric Whiteside, an employee at Able Charter School in Stockton. According to the Sheriff's Office, a parent contacted authorities last week after finding alarming cell phone messages between Whiteside and a student. The Sheriff's Office says further investigation confirmed child exploitation and revealed additional victims. Whiteside was arrested Thursday. We spoke with Able Charter's Superintendent Clem Lee by phone, who said Whiteside coached both junior high and high school age students at the charter school, in addition to his role in security. Lee also shared a letter that went out to parents Thursday that states Whiteside is no longer an employee with the school, that he had passed a background check, and that, quote, due to the integrity of the criminal investigation, Able was prohibited from issuing any information about the case before now. The investigation into Whiteside started on September 12th. Able Charter placed him on leave the next day. The superintendent says Whiteside was eventually fired and never returned to campus. A hotline has been set up for families needing to contact the school about the matter. The superintendent is also asking parents of students who may have had contact with Whiteside to speak with their children, and anyone with concern there may have been inappropriate communication should contact the San Joaquin County Sheriff's Office. And out here live at Able Charter, the Sheriff's Office is saying a similar message. They're asking anyone who believes they know any other victims to please contact their non-emergency line. And jail records do show that Whiteside is in custody tonight, facing 3 felony charges. He's scheduled to make his first court appearance September 26th in Stockton. Leon Denyer, KCRA 3 News.
Richmond police arrested a registered sex offender yesterday after he was spotted hanging out at Lake Reba Park. Richmond police say last Friday, 2 mothers were with their children at the playground when they noticed 38-year-old Nathaniel Sparks acting suspicious. The mothers reported the incident to police and gave them a description of Sparks along with the plate number of the car he was driving. With the help of Kentucky State Police, Sparks was identified as a registered sex offender who is prohibited from being on the public playgrounds. Police say he was previously charged with the same offense in Powell County in April 2022.
A man has been arrested for multiple sex crimes that special agents with the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation say happened more than 35 years ago. SBI agents say 68-year-old Marshall Williford of Edenton is charged with several crimes, including rape and indecent liberties. In May, agents say they were asked for help with a rape that had been reported that had allegedly happened several decades ago. According to agents, the investigation showed multiple victims of alleged rapes that happened across a span of 10 years between 1978 and 1988. They say the victims ranged in age from 5 to 14 years old at the time of the alleged rapes. Williford was taken to the Chowan County Jail and was given a $900,000 secured bond. The investigation is ongoing. Agents ask that if you have any information about these crimes to contact them. That number can be found on our website, WITN.com.
Investigators in Sacramento County arrest a man on child sex abuse charges. The sheriff's office says a mandated reporter at a local school contacted investigators back in April after a student disclosed years of sexual abuse at home. The investigation led to the arrest of 39-year-old Vincent Trio. His bail has been set at $3.9 million. Trio will appear in court October 30th.
When a child experiences trauma, they can be stripped of their ability to imagine. But imagination is colors. All the colors. Imagination is freedom. And whatever you want it to be. But a child without imagination is not a child at all. Will you help defend our right to imagine?